So, Mike, we're here to talk through some myths that we come across in the market when we speak to advisors and clients and indeed friends about investing offshore. And here's myth number 3. It's when a client comes to an advisor and they've read lots of articles and there's some alarmist commentary that's out there that they've seen as well. And they say, I want to take all my money offshore now.
Sure, it's such an interesting myth, this one, because it includes a number of different perspectives on one problem. And I guess I was listening to a political commentator the other day, and he said something along the lines of, South Africa is never as bad as it seems, and it could always be better than it is. So yeah, and to that extent, trying to calculate what your appropriate offshore allocation should be is really difficult, and it's very personal. And so for somebody in retirement in their mid-60s or 70s, their offshore allocation might be very different to somebody who's in their early 30s and is still building up their assets. And so, many people, perhaps our age in their 40s, are thinking about, should I stay or should I go, and what is an appropriate asset allocation to offshore. So if you just break that down and say, well, what do most clients have at the moment? They've generally got a residential house, they've got a pension fund, and they may have some discretionary savings sitting somewhere. And it's relatively easy to get your discretionary savings out of the country, as we explored earlier. But wholesale selling up your property in a knee-jerk reaction is probably not the best idea, unless you have a financial plan which says your end goal is to be ending up in a different country and you're officially emigrating. Something else to consider when calculating your offshore allocation is, what are your future expenses going to be denominated in? And sometimes they're a bit tricky to understand because we buy everything in rands, but actually many of our expenses, our luxury cars, our mobile phones, even our electricity and the oil price dictate and is based on foreign currency fluctuations. So getting a portion of your assets and your income into dollars or pounds, or for that matter, is certainly an appropriate strategy to take. But the percentage, whether it's 15% or up to 100%, is really something that's very unique to you.
And that's where the value of a financial advisor is key, isn't it? It's the plan that they put in place according to your unique circumstances.
Absolutely. So time and again, when I speak to financial advisors, and the clients who have had the most trouble is they typically consult them after something's happened. They've already emigrated and they're trying to fix what went wrong. When actually, if they just put some plans in place up front, when's the best time to plant a tree yesterday, then things tend to go a lot more smoothly. There has been some changes recently around financial immigration, and there have been certain parts of the process that have been streamlined, and some of the tax nuances have been clarified. So in a way, it's not necessarily easier, but it's more predictable in terms of what you need to do if you're going to financially immigrate in future.
Thanks, Mike.